probably live, but I never know. It's four. Oh no, it's not 4 o'clock. It's usually 4 o'clock on Tuesday when we do our podcast here at Higher Lead Chill. Shawn Day hanging out with you. It's about 2:15, 2:30, something like that. Have to do it a little bit early because there's like softball, baseball stuff going on. Got a banquet going on. We've got playoffs going on, and I just can't do the 4 o'clock thing anymore. I don't miss my kids' ball game when it's a ball game. I'm going to it no matter what. I've got a really good guest on today. Holly Moore, how are you?
Good. Hi, guys. Holly Moore here. Good to see you too.
All right. We're just we'll talk a little bit about baseball here shortly. Just a little bit. We got to dash that in there. But I usually talk like a little bit about the labor market and all that boring stuff. And I'm not going to do that because I'd rather, there's much more valuable things with somebody like you on. So I want to get to the business stuff. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, do that routine, introduce. And I want to make very clear to everybody that this is a very special guest that's doing things that probably less than 1% of cleaning owners in the country are doing. And that is isolates you on top of a big hill with a lot of things that you're doing. So I'm really excited about this one.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. You're making me blush. I try to stay as modest as possible and help people out as much as I can. I started out, I say 17 years. Actually, it's this June in a couple of days will be 18 years of having Maids and More. Was my original business here in the residential cleaning industry. Started out with a mop and a broom and started building my team and cleaned myself for 6 months and worked my way out of the business. And now I am here and created the cleaning software because I saw a very large gap in the market, especially in my volume. We started, obviously started out at the bottom, and then now we are trying our goal. We're set to hit like 9.7 this year, but we're trying to stretch it to 10. So it's like our big goal. So $10 million in residential cleaning only. That's about 150 employees. I would say for the past 2 to 3 years, my managers have been growing the business. I have not. I have stepped out onto my own new venture called the cleaning software. So the cleaning software came about like in 2018, 2019, when we were about 3 or 4 million. And I just really had trouble with the current CRMs that were out there being able to automate me at that big of a volume. And everything was slow or overcomplicated, or, it's never good when you go to sign up for something. They're like, oh, you'll be our biggest client. And I'm like, oh,
right.
So I knew what I wanted to do, and the features that were out there. I mean, actually, a lot of the features on a lot of different other softwares have improved since then. But when I first started looking, there really wasn't what I wanted. So we went down the path of creating our own. At first, I thought it was kind of a pipe dream, like, oh, I'll just put a little bit of a budget over here and we'll see what we can do. And then we came out with 1.0, which was very not the way I wanted it to be, but it worked. And we implemented it in 2020. And when that big cleaning is important pandemic situation came along, it was so automated that it allowed us to go from 4 to 8 in 2024 very, very quickly. So I realized the power of it, or obviously around 2021, 22, we completely revamped the entire thing to make it customizable to all different types of maid services, whether you be in CBF or you have a totally fundamentals model or whatever model or coaching program you're on, or if you have created your own process like we did. I never had a coach. I never followed a program. I just went on and did my own thing. So customizable to all different companies. So we revamped and then relaunched to the nation in 2024, but we didn't really start until this time last year of 2024. So I can say that we have been around for a year actually selling subscriptions to the CRM. And okay. I love helping other cleaning services. So it's been an awesome thing for me.
That's phenomenal. So 18 years coming up here in a couple weeks. A lot of stuff interesting in there. So one of the things that I always think about and talk about is those sort of purgatories in business, right? Where you get stuck at a certain level. How do you bust through it? And most times it's about hiring the right people to help you bust through that purgatory. Was let me ask you, what was the toughest, if you can identify, what was the toughest purgatory? Was it like 0 to the first million? Where is that sort of purgatory? Maybe by, I don't know if you would do it in revenue, number of employees, managers. How was your road trip through the purgatory hallways?
Man, there's several purgatories along the way. I would say that March to a million, that was pretty tough. Just because you have to start, that's the point where you have to start really training your brain to work on your business and not in it. And that's one of the hardest tasks as cleaning service owners that we have, because we're doers and we're micromanagers. So taking some lessons from like coaches like outside of the cleaning world, I think like I had a coach that used to coach at HP and stuff like. So he really got me turned around on strategic thinking and strategic planning, and that really helped me get past that part. Then now I'm on to the $2 and $3 million mark, and that was hard. And that was learning how to manage managers and how to motivate them to really grow your business. 1, finding them. 2, how do I align it? 3, how do I get them all on the same vision? How do I get them growing it like it was their own? That was really tough. And then we had a big roadblock, like with technology, all in that 3 to 4 million mark too. So those are probably my 3 purgatories. But that's one of our topics this month in the cleaning software is finding managers. I actually put you in my first webinar. This past week, I did a webinar on like just the beginning stages of how to find those managers and 3 different ways to find them. And definitely being a recruiter to find those managers is a really important process, because you have to create the avatar in which you're looking for before. And if you can hand that avatar over to Shawn and he knows exactly what he's looking for, he can just start sending you people left and right, and you can actually choose the right candidate. And so this week we're moving on to other things, but yes, managing managers is the toughest roadblock that people miss to get past that $3 or $4 million mark for sure.
How did you go from, I mean, I think and I owned a residential cleaning company for about 20 years, sold it in 2015. And I'm curious to hear your answer on this. This is interesting to me, Holly, because I made this mistake where I wanted to move my technicians that were so loyal, so good. I wanted them to live a better life and more money and give. And sometimes I would pull somebody that was a phenomenal cleaner that probably just wanted to clean and get a paycheck and go home and live her life, and that was fine. But I wanted more for her, So I would grab her out of that cleaning spot, throw her into a management position, and it never worked out real well for her. And do you try to have that career ladder? I got to get somebody from outside the company? What's your strategy? Both? Does it matter, or is it more about the person? Tell me a little bit about that.
Actually, I do both. And a lot of times I mentioned the avatar. It's like you should already know what you're hiring for before you go to hire it, right? So all of my managers have checklists, and when you start to see them melt and be unhappy and you're like, whoa, you have too much to do, you start just kind of taking some stuff and shifting off of your checklist. Before you know it, you have a job description. So when I'm looking at that job description, I decided, okay, what is the best channel to look for this for? If it's a QC manager, obviously the best channel is to go from existing people that already know how to clean that you want to promote. But if the job description is bookkeeping or something at a much higher level skill, marketing, for instance, I'm not going to be able to pull a cleaner out of the cleaner pool and make her, understand a GOP or whatever. Like, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So I think you can do a mix of both. I would say all of my operations managers, I've had a lot of success pulling from the pool. And then what I do is I put them on a 2-week trial, and I'm like, hey, we're just going to try it. Like, nothing permanent. Like, let's jump in and see.
Yeah.
Because you can tell a lot in 2 weeks whether if their IQ or if everything is working. And then and no harm, no foul. If we're like, ooh, yeah, that's not going to work. Or she's like, ooh, I hate this. Then we'll just send her right back to where she was. No demotion, no nothing. It's just like, hey, come up in the office and help us out for 2 weeks. So-and-so's gone. Let's just see. And maybe we don't even tell her about the position. Maybe we just kind of nonchalantly try her out. But a lot of my operations people came from the field. And then a lot of my corporate, like salespeople and stuff like that, came from without.
Yep.
So I think it just depends on your avatar. Who your
avatar. It makes a lot of sense. It does. And I love the idea of creating that avatar before you actually get somebody set into that position. You need to know what your company needs, what you need, what your other managers might need, and where does that is the creation of the actual avatar of the human being you're trying to put there. Mm-hmm. That works a lot better than going, that person sounds like they could be good at this. Let's figure that out and get them in there. I mean, that's like putting a square in a round hole. It just doesn't work that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or maybe even sometimes we'll do a thing where it's like if somebody's over HR, but we're like, man, they would be so much better at customer service. Maybe we'll rotate them over to a different position and hire for the HR person. Just kind of.
Yep. Do you know how many managers you have?
I do. I have 17.
17 managers. So you've got more managers than probably 85 to 90% of the cleaning companies that have cleaning technicians out there. That's a juggle. That's a juggle. So
there's 150 cleaners out there. So it takes on the daily. So it takes quite a bit. But I do have 3 locations. So
okay. Yeah.
I have one in Austin, and in Austin they have 5 managers operationally handling almost over 100 cleaners. So you imagine 100 maids needing help a day. And then I have Houston, who has 2 operations, and then the other Houston location has like 1.5. Interestingly enough, a lot of my managers are actually upper level managers who's like DOO, Director of Operations. So she's over all 3 locations.
Okay,
CEO over the whole thing, and then Director of Marketing, which is over that, and then I have a Director of Sales, and then in my sales department, I have 4 sales people answering phones and booking cleanings all day long. So I feel like our corporate management structure is a lot bigger than the lower level managers because they can.
So each location isn't completely decentralized. It's under one umbrella with the hierarchy or the org chart of CEO, COO, and so on. Yeah, that's definitely keeps things more the same and not so decentralized would be. You can do that in certain types of businesses, but it would be real difficult to do that in the cleaning industry, I would think. Tell me more about your sales, because I'm intrigued with the sales thing. It wasn't something like I do a lot of recruiting too for exterior cleaning companies, window cleaning, pressure washing, and all that. And it's always I want to pay somebody 100% commission to go out and just make me a lot of money, and then I know I can pay them X amount %. And like it's nobody's really. We're just, I shouldn't say nobody, but we're just now in the last, I'd say 2 years, 3 years, really cracking the nut of how to find and develop good salespeople in the home service industry space. It hasn't been something that's been around for a long time. How did you had to figure some things and carve some ways and machete your way through some jungles, man, to get where you're at, and with a lot of help, I'm sure. Tell me about your sales stuff. What are you doing with sales? What does that look like? Is it all inbound leads? Is it, Google? Tell me a little bit more about the sales and marketing, and what is the difference between sales and marketing too? That's a lot to ask, and that was like 6 questions in one round there.
I know, like, oh gosh. Okay, well, I'm gonna start with sales first of all. I think the number one mistake that home services do is they do not take sales important. It's the driving wheel to your growth. And we have always been keep sales absolutely separate of operations. Operations will be really good at operations if you leave them to work focus on keeping the customers and making sure you have high quality and hiring. Leave them alone. They're busy enough. Especially if your sales department is actually focused on selling, 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 the operations just got to focus on keeping up with the sales. So our salespeople do not answer any other calls. I know it's really tough. We're on that like under $300,000 revenue mark to break that off. But it is really important that you're at least headed in the direction of making your sales department totally separate to where when that phone rings, they are on it. They are answering that phone call within 1 minute. Or calling back within 1 minute. That form submitted, they're on the phone within 1 minute. We're in the life of convenience. And if you don't get and you take that lead seriously, ASAP, I'm talking within 1 minute, you're going to lose it. And so we've always operated ourselves completely separate of our operations. So that's one thing I figured out very early. Then our sales stuff, I also figured out that you can handle about 200, or I would say 300 to 350 incoming leads per month for a salesperson. So if you're getting 300 leads and you don't have a salesperson, big red light. You need at least one dedicated full-time salesperson. If you've got 600, you need 2 or 3 or maybe 1.5. And so that's how I've kind of figured it out. Every 300 leads, I pretty much add another salesperson to be effective, to be able to have a 50% close rate. Our goal at all times is to have a 50% close rate. I need to be grabbing 50% of those leads that come in. And then when you can get that number down consistently, you can really start to make some big moves as far as if you can predict your future sales and you know exactly how much new ones you're going to capture, then you know exactly how much money, which brings me into your last question, that you need to spend on marketing. So if you know that you're going to have 50% close rate and you know you want to grow, $1 million that year, currently you have 600 leads. Is that 600 leads plus your existing clients going to get you to your goal? No. Okay, that tells you exactly how many more leads I need. And now what do I do in making marketing decisions to get there? And how much more money do I need to spend, et cetera, et cetera. So having the sales carved out perfectly to where you have your system in place, you have your salespeople selling, you're answering immediate, you're being responsive, just like I talked about National Convention, being your Chick-fil-A. Everybody goes to Chick-fil-A, like fast, efficient, go, 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 sell, sell, sell. So after you get that part down, then if you're at 50, now you can start predicting a little bit better on marketing. So I think I answered. Did that cover the sales part?
Okay. For sure.
Okay. As far as the system we use TCS is almost done with our sales CRM part. That was kind of one of the very last things that we worked on. I guess you could say we grew up in Pipedrive is what we had originally used. But coming in the next 6 months, TCS sales system is going to be set up exactly like Maids and More's was. So it kind of gives you your own process, but you can customize it however you want. But yes, did it answer your sales stuff?
Yeah. What about the marketing end as far as how do you bring those leads in for your salespeople?
Got it. So just last month, we brought in about 1,500 leads. And so those leads, hold on 1 second. I will be able to tell you exactly the percentages. So just a second.
No worries.
I don't want to spit off like random data. I'm like an exact.
Right.
I'm an exacto person. Okay, so 1,500 leads. Our lead source percentage. Now this is Google Ads or Google. Some of it may be Google Map Pack. Anything where they said Google that wasn't specifically linked to our Google Guaranteed, because you can track those. Yep. So Google in general was like 42%. And I spend about 2.5 to 3.5% of our revenue every month on Google Ads.
Okay.
And then current and past customers, we average about 15% either come back or book again. Referrals, we're at about 4%.
Nice.
I didn't cleaning for a reason. Actually, we booked 13 last month on just customers that wanted to say even more reason to support cleaning for a reason, because you actually do get business out of it.
You sure do.
As well as giving back. So social media, we had a record-breaking month. We've been working really hard on this one. We actually got 131 bookings from social media, which is only at 8%, but still 8% of 1,500 is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then our property management realtors stay at about 5%. Google guaranteed, which I don't like those leads because they're very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get rid of them. I'm like, I watch the ROI on them and I'm like, some months it's like break even. It just makes me mad.
Right.
So the Google guaranteed or Google local, I think now they're called, is at 20%. And then the rest are email campaigns around 2%. So that's the exact breakdown of marketing.
Yeah, bam. So you know your numbers, but that's the sort of high level importance of what you're outlining, Holly, is that it's really important to keep sales separate from the operations and sort of the daily grind of the cleaning operational end of the business and the managers that are managing it, that end of it, customer service and all that sort of thing. And sales is its own sort of beast to just grow like crazy and pound. Is there any other sales or marketing that you're doing that you don't see a lot of other cleaning companies doing? Or is it there's no silver spinny little thing out there, that shiny object thing? It's pretty much fundamental things.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we live in a life of Google, which I hate.
I know.
But I feel like they're gazillionaires, but
they are.
they are gazillionaires. So I actually have focused this year more than ever. We did get kind of Google dependent. And so I am kind of going back now that I have a full-time marketing person, and we're going back to a lot of grassroots that I think everybody's kind of forgotten about because they take more time. Google takes less time, but they obviously take less money. Google takes more money. So trying to get those cost of leads down, we've really been focusing on getting back in networking groups, getting back, doing local charities, really getting our name out there in the local community. So I think that is a balance that we all kind of forget about because we want to just be able to take so much time, we just kind of drop it. But if you hit that $3 or $4 million mark and you've got perfectly capable managers that are there and ready to go represent you, it's not that you have to go to all these events. You can assign your managers to go to these events, and a lot of times it's perks and they enjoy it. So don't steer away from the good old fashioned boots on the ground, because like when I'm very active in my communities, just as a person, as a mom, as everything. And so when we look at our zip codes, we realize our two biggest zip codes are in the zip codes where I live and where my face is out there the most and where I'm the president of the booster club or whatever. So I think the power of boots on the ground is really important, and just being involved.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And it has a lot to do with your brand and keeping your brand out there and in front of people, and what you guys are all about, who you are, the cleaning for a reason, the giving back, all that stuff. And you seem to be on a mission right now of just educating the residential cleaning industry, which there's, it's come such a long way over, the last 30 years or whatever it's been with the association and Debbie and the rest out there that are doing a lot of good things. And now you've really seemed to have been focusing on that the last couple of years, and there's still definitely a need for that. And when you take something to $10 million in revenue, I think you're the good person and the right person, and somebody that's giving back and doing the things that you do. I think we're lucky that you're out there, and this has been something your mindset has been going after it to try to help some people out, because it is frustrating. I mean, it's a frustrating, I think, when I look at things, and I talk to Dan, my partner with bookkeeping and numbers, and we talk a lot about the industries of, pressure washing, window cleaning, and all that, maid service. There's some tough margins sometimes to pound through, and cash flow issues to pound through with the residential cleaning space, more so than some others. The margins are pretty tight, so you've got little room for error. And if we don't have people like you that have been there, done that, and crushed through some of that stuff, and then sharing it with us, it's a rough road to go sometimes. And so, so I appreciate all that. Tell me, let's switch into. I love the sales stuff. Let's switch to the operations and the managing managers.
Okay.
So let's talk about how in the hell do you motivate somebody to grow your business, and what is that all about? I mean, how do you grab somebody and say, work your butt off, grow my business, and I'll make more money, and things are going to be great? I'm being a little bit ridiculous, but
yeah, I know. And this is the part I feel kind of ridiculous talking about, because it sounds really cheesy, and it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
For certain. So the cheesy part in it is you never use the word I or my or any of those. It is we and us and together, because we're in it to build careers for each other. And everyone in my office that works for me knows that this is going to be an environment where we're going to kick ass and we're going to reach goals, but we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. And I've had jobs where you go to work and you hate what you do. And we make it fun. We make it, but we don't just have fun all the time. We obviously have like high goals, and we like break them down, and we got to get there. And everybody on the team, much like in sports, we were talking about, I grew up playing sports. So I think it just really transferred over to, let's do some really hard crap and let's figure out how to get it done, but let's bond and let's be that team and let's have fun while doing it, and then get our rewards what we need them, and just be there for each other. And if you're not going to be a team player or a part of, I use the word family. I think somebody corrected me the other day. I probably shouldn't use the word family, but I'm a Texas girl, so we just all family. You know how we are.
Right.
So everybody's part of our family, and the second you threaten our family with being selfish or narrow-minded or not hitting your goals or not being a good team member, you don't have to be a part of our team anymore. Go out there to those jobs that you're miserable going to work for, but you're not going to be here and you're not going to be making us miserable.
Yeah.
So that's our like fun and then harsh side of it. Like, don't mess with my family.
Yeah,
I will kick you out of our family. And we have goals. We have quarterly goals. Guess what? If we crush them, we go do something fun. We get rewards. They get bonuses. I have bonus structures in place, of course, working very closely with my numbers to make sure that I don't set a bonus structure up that is going to affect my numbers, so that our numbers are set to hit what we need to hit. And if we go beyond that point, now I have money to play with for bonuses. And why not reward it to the team that got it there? So we work with bonuses, and then we also have these badass company retreats if we hit our stretch goals.
I saw some stuff on social media. You do have badass. It is.
I mean, like, because a lot of us, like, if you look at you, I'm sure you have a lot of statistics on all of this. Yes, some people are motivated by money. A lot of the top end managers are motivated by money. That's no doubt. But a lot of us are just motivated by cool shit that we get to do that we wouldn't have had to get to do otherwise, or maybe a simple recognition or a pat on the back. You could offer them $10,000 more a month and they'd still be miserable. But if you offered them a trip to Hawaii, they'd be like, like, I never get to travel or go anywhere or do any of this cool stuff. So I realized right on that my team is motivated by yearly retreats, but they know we have to hit our minimum goal and one of our stretch goals. And then depending upon which goal we hit is which trip we go on. So, like, we just got back from an all-inclusive, amazing Champions Ranch where we got to go on African photo safaris. They learned how to shoot guns, how to fish. Nice. It was like moments they never would have had anywhere
So,
else. And if you, I don't know, but if you've ever gone anywhere and worked anywhere, like you get a card at Christmas, we don't roll
yeah,
like that. And they
yeah,
know that,
yeah,
like, if you're here and you're part of our family, we take care of you and we really make it an exciting place to work here because we're cleaning houses. How exciting
yep,
can it be? I mean, trust
yep.
me, we get some crazy clients that make our
I'm
days pretty
sure.
fun.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So I like all that stuff, man. It's we, ours, not mine. Um, really, really family, the sports analogy. And it is. I mean, it's the sports analogy. I remember coaching my daughter's little league stuff, and I was an assistant coach for like 3 years, and we came in second place every single year. I was the assistant coach. They talked me into head coach because the head coach's daughter moved on, so he moved on, type of thing. And I'm like, I'm not head coaching, man. I don't deal with. I don't want to deal with the umpire stuff, the scheduling stuff, talking to other coaches stuff. If you want me to teach the girls and motivate them, I'll be your head coach. But you're doing all that other stuff, so that's what we decided. I'm just going to teach and
Yeah.
motivate. And so, and I said, here's our three goals. And if anybody has other ideas on this, let me know. But and I said it this way: we're going to have fun, and that's because you have to say that nowadays. You got to have fun, so we're going to have fun. And I mean, we're going to have fun, all right? And
Hmm.
so, and we did. We had a lot of fun. And I said, you're going to learn. You're going to learn an awful lot about working together and taking yourself to places that you didn't think you can take yourself, because I think that's important in life. And we are going to win a championship. Those are our
Hmm.
three goals, and we did that, and we had a ton of fun along the way. But those are simple, clear goals. There's nothing great at all, really, about any of that stuff. But it was a lot of teammate stuff. It was a lot of, um, you know, this is all good when we all are in this together. Now we had some one or two that we had to get rid of, that were not working out, that were like just horribly crazy with the way they were treating other people and things like that. So that plays true all through life. I think that's just when you got that team, when you've got that family. Um, it is a family. It is a family. This is America. That we're all in this thing together. I always say it. There's a lot of goofy things that are going on here or there, but we're all in this damn thing together. And one way or another, you got to fight for the right things. Whatever you think your right thing is, you got to fight for it. That's all there is to it. And I think you're absolutely right too, Holly, with trying to get creative on ways that you can. $100 bill is a nice thing to hand somebody, but it's $100 bill. They go spend it or drink it or eat it, whatever, and it's gone right away. But like you said too, and we talked earlier about the memories that you'll never forget. I remember one where she loved volleyball. She coached volleyball, played in college, so we sent her to Division I college championships in a completely different state. You and a guest, your daughter, whoever you want to take. That's something that's going to be remembered forever, forever. And it didn't cost that much. It wasn't that big of a deal to do that. Um, so do you happen to have, um, are there, what's sort of the training, or how do you get those leadership skills? Because that's a really important part of it, is that those leadership skills are just vital when you're talking about a company your size and growing that company. I mean, when you get to a point where the balloon's got tons of air in it, how much more air can you put in that balloon?
I don't know. I'm
You
testing the theory.
know.
I'm like, I don't know. We're set to grow another 20% this year just in our 3 locations. So I'm like, I don't know. Everybody's like, are you going to start another location? I'm like, not till I pop the growth
Yeah,
bubble in the other 3. Austin's still growing. Austin alone is at like 6 million, and it's just
that's awesome.
continuing to grow. I said, I'll just wait until these are flatlined, which I'll let you know when that happens. But leadership, I actually went to, it was so funny because I wanted to go to law school. That was my thing. And I'm an Aggie. Whoop, sorry. So I'm off. Anyway, so I went to school and I was trying to go to law school. So I really liked economics, and I was playing around with ag economics. And then I was like, you know what? I need to get into law school. So I'm just going to pick the easiest freaking major so I can get in.
Yeah.
with the 4.0 or whatever. So I chose ag leadership, which also translates to taking a class with a bunch of football players, which is fine. So my degree is in ag leadership, even though I didn't really mean to
Uh-huh.
know that I was going to need that degree later. So I'm sure I probably learned some of this in college, but I won't really remember any of the
Yep.
official classes. But leadership it was even crazy for me. But so teaching how to lead, that mentality that we just talked about, and teaching others to think like that, and it's just a lot of consistent coaching. I was actually talking with my CEO about this when I was preparing for our first webinar. I was like, it's consistent coaching over time, saying and sticking to the same strategies,
Love it.
always being there, never stranding anybody out to dry, not responding. They are your number one important asset, and you should treat them like a water balloon about to hit the ground. If you drop the ball and that balloon hits the ground, you cannot let it do it. Like, that's how serious you have to take your coaching lesson. Call them once or twice a day when they're first taking a leadership role. I think it's funny because sometimes Caitlin, my CEO, I'm like, I have to call her once a week and be like, is everything okay? She's like, yeah, it's okay. Somebody had a meltdown, but I coached her up. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're coaching others now. So like, I don't even coach anymore. I've coached her to coach everybody else. Same thing with our GMs. Like, everything in life is a problem, right? And you got to solve it. And there's always a process. We have a thing called conflict resolution that we go through every single time with consistency. Okay, like, what's the clear problem here? Think about it from their perspective. Everybody sit down. Is this a family? No one's right or wrong. What is the solution? And staying solution-based thinking and just coaching people through that process. I coached my managers so much to do that now I turn around and I watch them coach all the other cleaners and conflicts that happen every day, and even coach themselves. Like, I'm not going to call Holly because I know that she's going to tell us to look at that stupid conflict resolution sign and that we're going to go through that and that we're going to have to hug each other at the end of it. And so they don't even call me anymore. They just solve their problem on their own. And that's how you know that you're a good leader.
Magic. Yep.
That's how you know that you're a good leader, and that because I've never veered off of that path and I've always kept the same thing. One other thing about leadership that I see go wrong a lot with even the companies, I have several companies that are on our CRM, and I watch them and I'm like, stop grabbing it and doing it. It's easier to grab it and do it yourself, but what it does is it kills their confidence.
Yep.
And then they're never going to learn how to do it. You've got to take the time, even though it's one of those things you got to spend a lot of time up front, but it pays off so big in the long run. Take the time to coach them through it, and also to explain the whys. I'm a why person. If I don't know why, like, why do I have to check the checklist off every day?
Right.
I don't understand why. If you don't have the why or the buy-in from them, if you don't explain every little bit of why you have that on their checklist, they're not going to want to do it or understand why. So explaining the whys, not doing it for them, giving them instructions, and then touching base with them and making sure they've done them and holding them accountable. And if you do it enough times, they know, oh, I got to do this because she's going to call me. If I don't have it done, I'm not going to get yelled at, but I'm going to get the grandma speech where she's like, I'm very disappointed in you. And like,
I call it the Andy Griffith thing. He's like, I'm disappointed in you, Opie.
And then you're like, oh my gosh. Like that, they should never be scared that you're going to be mad at them. They should be scared that you're going to be disappointed. And that's two totally different things.
Yeah. Emotion can kill management and leadership really quick if you're not careful. There's passion's one thing, but to have that emotional negativity and fear and things like that, just the consistency I love. I've been really in the last, I'd say, year and a half or so, I don't know where it came from. I don't remember what the moment was, but I think it was just talking with a lot of other business owners. And I am really, really passionate about core values right now. I've been talking a lot about core values in the sense of when we talk about core values, like ours are PLOW, positive, it's PLOW, positive attitude, But when I talk about the positive attitude, it isn't, hey man, we got to go out there and get them, not that. It's a moral obligation to be positive in this workplace, because nobody has a right to come here and ruin somebody's day bitching about politics or the truck or the husband or the wife or the kids. Life happens. We can talk about life, but that negativity really has to be reeled in. It really. And so when we talk about core values, I started to just get this evolution of it's number one, it's about making it the best damn place to work. It's not about me. So when I talk about loyalty, for example, not loyal to me, not loyal to the company, not loyal to not even the clients. You guys need to be loyal to one another, because my job is to make this the best place in the world for you guys to work. If you're loyal to one another and somebody comes to work and maybe their kid was up all night and they're tired, somebody might have to help them out at the end of the day on a first clean or something. And you better be there for each other, because that's going to happen to somebody else where you're going to need to step up and throw them on your shoulders and plow through. Okay. Those things, these core values are for you guys so that you wake up every morning and love to come to work. And I'm going to protect that as much as I can. And so that, kind of evolved into, well, that's my management tool. If the purpose behind core values for me at this company are to make this a world-class place for you guys to work and prosper and have fun and reach goals and make more money and reach your dreams. Okay. And actually, when the alarm clock rings, you're not bitching and moaning about, God, I can't stand. You actually don't mind coming to work. I mean, that's not really something that happens to all of us around the world. Okay. If I can protect that. So when I hear somebody step outside of those core values, this is like my constitution for the business, gang, because I've got to protect this so that you guys have a great place to work. And when you put it through sort of that lens, and in the same regard, that's the reward system too. When I hear somebody that's off the charts with our core values, you come on in. I want to talk about something with you. I want to duplicate you. You are so positive out there. And I heard you grabbing somebody by the arm and saying, listen, it's not a big deal. It's just a new app we've got to use. It's just takes 10 seconds to do. That is what you can manage people that way. So I'm very passionate about that right now. And I've actually coached on that with our clients with recruiting, and I've seen it absolutely change. And in one or two cases, save people's businesses.
It is crucial. It is leadership and core values, and your work environment is one of the biggest differences that I see office to office. Because I'm in a lot of offices, implementing the cleaning software, and the people who get people and the people who make it that fun and environment and like awesome place to work, they're always the most successful. And you know what? They're the most happiest business owners too.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Micromanaging and finger pointing don't get you anywhere.
No,
actually,
they don't.
A lot of those owners, I want to be like, okay, do you have a mirror at home? I want you to go look in the mirror and ask you these 5 questions. I don't like it.
So that's so funny, because with the recruiting end of it, I always, when I either talk about it or present on it or whatever, it's always, I used to hand out I still do it, the sunglasses that say highly chill, because it's the chill thing. And Platt is like, dude, you got to start, because I was talking to him about griping about some things I don't understand. What no shows are going to happen for the rest of our lives, gang. I'm sorry, there's no shows. We hired 5 people for you, and all I heard was about the 8 no shows. And I don't understand that for the life of me. Why are we talking about 8 no-shows when we had 5 people we just hired for you literally in that same amount of time? So he said, dude, you got to scrap those sunglasses. You got to just take mirrors and hand those out at the show and go, how do I help my recruiting? And just turn the mirror over and go, look in the mirror. It's all the same thing with, nobody wants to work anymore, and all that stuff. And there's certainly a change in things in the world, but I always have to go with the reality we're living in. I'd like it where everybody would do the things you want them to do, but that's called living in not in reality, because that's just the way it is. But
the reality is you just need a bigger pool of people.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, right? It's recruiting is sales. You're selling a job, and at the end of that spectrum, you've got a candidate and hopefully an employee. It's the same thing, right? It's exactly the same thing. Talk a little bit. I know you're not here to sell stuff, but talk a little bit more about your software, about the CRM, because I think there's a lot of new ones out there, and really just over the last, say, to 3 to 5 years. So that's relatively new. What what does it kind of look like, or what are some of the cool things that are helpful things, because it's catapulted your business obviously in big ways?
Yeah, so I think the number one thing for the cleaning software is that it's backed by like us, not me, that work for the cleaning software. We have over like 60 years of cleaning knowledge. Like Faith Maldonado is on our team. We have
Oh, nice.
Carrie, who's been in the cleaning industry for 30 years. And then and then I've been in it for 20. I mean, we just have a plethora of knowledge as far as residential cleaning industry goes. Like, if they're like, and our customer service is top notch, and our education is top notch. Like, what you get with the cleaning software is you not only get a CRM, but you get all these years of experience. We have a success group where we put out great information for our customers. I love Debbie Sardone. She's one of my favorites, but I have absolutely no urge to want to get up on a stage, create a membership of 500 people, and create a following. That was not the path I chose. My path is to choose to help and educate people through technology. That's where my passion is. So I'm not a coach out there or anything like that. I'm trying to make it's part of the cleaning software. And I think what makes us that, and also the systems and processes that are put into the cleaning software, are designed by people who actually have been in the industry for a long time. So, empowered pay and easy ways to do that. The scheduling, how all the frustrating systems and all the CRMs about scheduling. We've got that down to an art because we clean 200 houses a day. Imagine how many hours that would take, and it takes us about 30 minutes a day to do 200 houses on our schedule. So I think the experiences and the processes that are already built into the software, and then on the back end, being able to customize it to have those weird things that happen throughout the cleaning industry. That's not just one set default button. Like you get to create different cleaning types. It's so customizable, and then it's designed so the fact that after you sell the cleaning, like I want Maids and More, their sales team, to be bigger than my operations team, because I want the sales team to be putting dots on my map, and then the operations team is literally just plugging them in and then helping cleaners and hiring cleaners. I don't want them doing anything as far as processing a payment, spending any time on payroll. All of that is automatically done after you get them scheduled. So the cleaning software is going to automate you from after the time you schedule them, and they're done. Auto processing, auto payroll, auto everything. It's just, and you get to set it up with us with our awesome onboarding team that will like customize everything of how you do things. Awesome. Or if you do something weird, which there are a lot of weird things out there, we always can figure out a workaround.
Yep. Perfect. And so is the onboarding team, do they have experience in the cleaning industry as well then, Holly? Or
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Our onboarding team is actually Carrie and Faith. So you'll go through a ton of training before then. Like 3 trainings before you even go live, and then 4 trainings immediately after you go live. We really want to spend a lot of time with you up in the front end to really teach you how to go live fast and be efficient as possible. We also have a direct customer service channel. You can just hit us up with a question. We'll send you Zoom links. You can schedule appointments anytime you need to for help. Plus, we have weekly webinars. Every week, we cover a new training session on our success page, as well as all the free education that even the public has access to on the cleaning software's public website. So
awesome.
And I have some super exciting news. We just doubled our dev team, and we are working hard on some crazy new features that nobody has, and we'll just keep those a secret for now. But
Wow.
I will tell you, it's going to be amazing in 6 months. The accomplishments that we're going to be able to have. So
Excellent, excellent, excellent. That I'm looking forward to. We'll have to bring it back on when that rolls out in a few months,
yeah,
and learn more about that. That's awesome. When we put together the recruiting stuff, I really wanted to make sure that we didn't just have customer service reps and they were making $15 an hour to make you feel warm and fuzzy. So like our account managers are people that actually manage businesses. And one of our account managers was my general manager for about 5 years. So Nikki and some of the others know what you are going through out there in the world of growing a business, and not just making you feel warm and fuzzy and stuff like that when you call. So
yeah,
there's that. I talk about this a lot with AI. I think there's going to be at least a window of opportunity where, and technology has proven this in my view to be in automations, AI, there's going to be a premium on human customer service, because I think there's going to be, wait a minute here, this AI is great, or this automation's great, and you see that with like Go High Level, their customer service has gone down, their technology and their software is through the roof, but their customer service is plummeted. So that customer service, and there's it's one thing to develop and be a software company. It's another to maintain that person to person, that customer service. It really is important. So I'm glad
yeah.
to hear that on your end for sure.
Yeah, Faith, which you know very well, is in
Oh yeah.
CBF. So she's like if you're a solo person on the CBF model, she's really good at the onboarding for you guys. And then we have Carrie, who is, I think you know Miss Sharon Timberg. I think she
Oh yeah.
recently, so back in the day,
Yep.
Sharon had her own cleaning service here in Austin.
She
And she
sure
closed
did.
it down, I think around 2008, right when I started my company. She always
Yeah.
teases me that I got all of her customers. But anyway, so Carrie was her manager.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so and she has also worked for Gosha, so she's been like 30 years of it and cleaned her own houses herself. So if somebody at the cleaning software doesn't know the answer, that would be pretty amazing. I don't know that we couldn't figure out one.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, Sharon's she's a wild card. I love Sharon.
Hey, but she actually, I've got to post that today. She just officially signed up for the cleaning software. So
Yeah,
she says you've been sending her tons of cleaning applicants, and she's super pumped. And I can't believe that lady never ceases to amaze me. She just
it,
keeps going. I'm like, dude, I
I
hope I'm
know.
tired by the time, but she
She
just
is
loves it.
something. She does it. I mean, she's just, I think I'm going to start from scratch. I'm like, what? What are you nuts? She's like, no, I know I can do it. And she's doing it while she's honeymooning and doing it. It's just like, she's a trip, man. I mean,
She is a
she's
trip.
something else. All right. What we're up against our hour thereabouts. I got tons of good information, hopefully for anybody out there that's going to listen to this and listen to it over the next few days and podcasts and all that. Holly, is there anything else that you want to, if somebody's watching and they're just struggling out there a little bit as a residential cleaning owner and thinking about hanging up the skates and moving on, is there any last kind of couple things you want to toss her way or his way?
I mean, schedule a demo with the cleaning software.
Yep.
That'll get you an appointment with either one of us, and we could talk about those struggles during your demo. And then plus, you might like to see that the cleaning software maybe be able to solve a lot of what you're struggling with. Or maybe I could be like, what are your cogs? What is this? Oh, yeah. Do you want me to hook you up with somebody to sell it? I don't know.
Yep.
I'll be as honest as I can, for sure. There's
Yep.
only one other thing I wanted to talk about was on this Thursday is on the 29th. I'm having a live, or it's going to be on the Cleaning Software's Facebook page. It is a Zoom call. I wanted it to be more intimate. It's not intimate. It's not live. It's in a Zoom call. It's just a webinar. I'm presenting My last step on managing managers, this one's probably the hardest one, where I'm going to go over checklists, how to create your roles and responsibilities. Last week, I kind of went into options to hire them and where to find them and creating all that. And then strategic planning sessions. I mentioned that's what helped get me over 1 million. How do you go to your team, create a strategic planning session and break down all of those goals into tasks, get them assigned to your managers, and then how do you motivate them to get it done? So if you're bored, 12 p.m. Central Time at the webinar, don't make me sit in the Zoom call by myself, present to myself. I'm giving out free education, so just put it in.
Yes. Yeah. We got to get a link up. If you can have somebody send me a link or put one in there somewhere, and then I'll post that link on how they can sign up and share it around all our channels and all that good stuff.
I sure will.
It's super valuable information because it's not it's not talked about a lot, and two, that could be the top 1 or 2 bottlenecks of growing your business. So super important.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you for having me on, Shawn. I really appreciate it.
Good luck with the team. I hope they get the state. We'll see what happens here in the next week or 2.
Yep.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. I don't know when, but I'll have to look that up and let you know. God bless. Take good care, everybody. Bye-bye.